These guys are fantastic. It's kind of like a funky blues rock band. They kind of remind me of maybe like some CCR, that kind of real groovy rock and roll. Screaming Engines has our new video out on YouTube. The song is called Four Lifetimes. It's officially out. It was filmed by our good friend Dave Wilson. His name is Dave Krusen. He is the rock and roll drummer, best known probably for working on the first Pearl Jam record. So Dave Krusen is a rock and roll Hall of Famer. So that was pretty cool. It's pretty good. Pearl Jam was a big band in our years coming up, and that record is just completely monumental. Rock and roll bands, that's what we do here. Rock and roll, heavy metal, till the day we die.
Seattle, the 80s, it was like there was a lot of punk bands.
Totally.
Great. And some great metal bands.
Right. And that's the whole fusion of it. And I was like, we just kind of stole from each other on purpose.
Right. Somewhere in Seattle, you guys just started throwing everything in the pot.
Yeah, there would be bills, right, Dave? With there'd be punk bands, metal bands, and everybody in between. Like everything just started bleeding into each other. Seattle has been, and it still is. I know leaving Seattle and going to other cities and finding that it was hard to find good studios to work in.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. Like the talent in the Northwest, just growing up, it's pretty cool. Like, I had a lot of friends that were talented. I got to play with a lot of talented people.
Right.
It was just, it was definitely the town to be in. Everybody was going to LA, but really it was blowing up there,
Right. Yeah. LA was probably floundering probably by the early 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
If there wasn't a place to play, you made a place to play.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam's a perfect, for me looking back and trying to tell other people, that record 10 was a perfect example of how the art of making records is different now. And how it was such a 2-inch tape type of a record. And I mean, in the sense of the workflow and how it was done and how it was tracked as a band.
Like, when it comes down to remixes, for me personally, I'm like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm like, that's the art, that's the painting on the canvas. Don't mess with it. People don't understand that weren't there, that weren't alive then, that they don't understand that that music wasn't really big yet, and a lot of people get there's conversation going around because there was a lot of like a pushback in the early 90s from some of the bands coming out of there, because they weren't really expecting it. I mean, the whole success thing was like kind of broadsiding the scene, or at least that's from outsider looking in.
Everyone in the band has such different influences, and then now it's like, more about that band and their influences or whatever. But I think it really collided immediately, and, kind of made it a little different,
Yeah.
And it's kind of that kind of like just snowballed.
That's what kind of bums me out about specifically drums now, and a lot of like recordings that are on the radio. Like, they've just taken out that nuance. It's just so buttoned up and on that grid.
Well, because you can just clean it. Yeah.
It's like, why clean it up?
It's weird, man. It's like we toured our asses off for a year, I think. We really stayed on the road, played a lot of shows.
It was hard to compete if you didn't have
big push.
Yeah.
We kind of
had the Blind Melon success. I can't remember what club I saw you guys in LA, but it was fantastic. And everybody was there. It was like totally packed, hot. I remember that. That's the genius, is when you can make it sound simple, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's one of those things. It's just, he plays like nobody else. It's like Ringo Starr, like Charlie Watts. They just play
Charlie Watts, yeah.
Else. It's like, no, they're not playing complicated stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, man. Just good luck, AI. Humans still know how to do it, to keep it that unique.
That's how you end up doing something that everybody now wants to copy, because it's like they think you did it all on purpose.
Being in a band is tough, man. You have to deal with other people. It's like,
exactly.
I don't want to hear your opinion right now. It's constant negotiation.